10 things to know before you pitch investors. Last week I was talking with Chris, a CEO that I am advising, about his upcoming investor pitches. Chris was asking me all sorts of questions about what to expect. What struck me about Chris's questions was how little information there is out there about how startup CEOs should prepare for raising money. It kind of blew me away, to be honest. Now, I'm not just talking about what should be in your pitch. The information I'm talking about goes way beyond your pitch and your pitch deck. Yet, this information can be the difference between your success and failure raising money. The 10 things I'm going to share with you today will help you successfully prepare so you'll be one step closer to getting an investment. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. The list I'm going to share with you was developed from my own experience raising money and from the startup CEOs I've worked with over the years. These are all the things you need to know or do before you meet investors. And let's start with my number 10 on my list. Number 10, you need to know how long it will take you to raise your funding. 100 to 1. I learned this ratio when I was an entrepreneur in residence at a San Francisco-based venture capital fund. That's the number of face-to-face meetings a typical venture capitalist or angel investor will have with prospective startups before they invest in just one startup. It sounds kind of daunting, doesn't it? It tells you just because you want to raise money doesn't mean that you will raise money. It's why preparation is so important. It's why the typical fundraising takes around 6 months, if you're lucky enough to raise money at all. But that's the typical fundraise. Depending upon what you're doing and the economic environment, it might take much longer. For example, it took me over 2 years to raise our initial funding because we were raising money during the Great Recession. There's nothing that makes me sadder than when somebody waits until they only have about 2 months runway to raise their funding. It's an unnecessary, self-inflicted wound. That's why I recommend to give yourself at least 1 year to raise your funding. Number 9, you need to know who you're going to raise your money from. Not all investors are created equal. Different funds and different angels invest in different types of startups. Some invest in late-stage startups. Some invest exclusively in certain verticals, like medical device startups. And some invest exclusively in certain geographic areas. Your job is to do the research and build a list of potential investors that fit your profile. The good news is this is much easier to do in today's world because of the internet. Next, we have number 8 on our list. Number 8, you need to know how many investors you will set up meetings with. Didn't we answer this with the first question? Number 10, not really. What I'm talking about here is how many investors should you try and set up meetings with at any given time. Let's say you have a list of 100 prospective investors. I wouldn't recommend trying to meet with all of them at once because your pitch might not be honed and you'll have blown your opportunity. Get the idea? Instead, I try and meet with investors in sets of 10. In other words, meet with 10 investors, gather the feedback from these 10 investors, and make whatever adjustments you need to make before meeting with the next group of 10 investors. Then continue this process until you raise your funding. Next is number 7 on our list. You need to know who you will bring to your investor meetings. This is where the rubber hits the road because all of your co-founders will want to go to the investor meetings. But that's not the right move. Let me explain why. You are selling when you raise money, and you should only bring people that are going to help you raise money. This is typically only people that will augment your expertise and participate in the meeting. Co-founders that don't participate in the meeting will look out of place, and all they're going to do is hurt you. For example, I only had 4 co-founders, but I only brought Jeroen, my co-founder and VP of engineering, to our investor meetings. The reason was that I could handle the business, the marketing, and the sales pieces of the presentation, but I needed someone with serious technical chops to handle any technical questions we got. That was Jeroen's job. And this leads directly to my next point, number 6 on our list. You need to know your whole pitch and who's on your team and what they will say. Steve Jobs would practice any presentation he gave over 100 times. He would do a full dress rehearsal twice, just like they do in a theater, the weekend before he actually delivered the presentation. Now, is it any wonder that Jobs' presentations were so good? He took it seriously, and so should you. That's my first point. My second point is you need to understand that you, the CEO, are the MC. You are the person that investors care about most. So you, the CEO, will be giving the whole pitch. And the people you will be bringing with you will be helping you answer questions. You need to act like an orchestra conductor. So let's say that I got a deep technical question. I would then say, Jeroen, why don't you answer that one? That way you don't talk over each other. Next, we're on to the numbers you need to know. Number 5 on our list. You need to know how much money you're trying to raise. Now, this seems kind of obvious, but you'd be amazed. I know. There's advice out there that you should give a range for your investment ask. However, I think that's horrible advice. I mean, seriously. You're asking an investor to write you a check, and you don't know how much you need? Come on, man. You should know exactly how much money you need. Next, number 4 on our list. You need to know your exact yearly revenue to date. Again, you would think this would be obvious. However, it blows me away. How many CEOs don't know the revenue? Tattoo this into your brain. You should know exactly what your current yearly revenue is and your last month's revenue is. Then we get to number 3 on our list. You need to know your break-even revenue and when you will hit your break-even revenue. Again, this seems obvious. This is a basic question that almost every investor asks. You need to know the answer. Yeah, I know that planning in the early stages isn't exact, but you still should tell investors what your current financial planning is. For example, you might say, our break-even revenue is $3.5 million per month, and we will hit it in June of next year. That's all you need to say. Then we're on to number 2 on our list. You need to know how much money you will need to get to cash flow positive. Again, this is another basic investor question. Don't worry, investors aren't going to hold you to what you say. However, they do want to know what your thoughts are. So you need to be able to answer this question. When you get asked this question, just say it will take X million investment for us to get to cash flow positive. That's it. Then we're on to our last one. And this is arguably the most important one. Number one on our list. You should know how you're going to manage your investment process. Remember, I said that raising funding is a sales process. So you should manage your fundraising like a sales process. That means you should have some sort of CRM tool, be it just a simple spreadsheet or an inexpensive tool like Pipedrive to manage the deal flow. It's all you need. Trust me, when you start juggling a lot of potential investors, you'll want to know what the next step in the process is and when it's supposed to happen. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. Well, that's it. That's the 10 things to know before you pitch investors. I hope you found it useful. What did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions for me, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the link at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.